That I think it definitely now everybody, even, people who are not very aware about, holistic health or good nutrition, they know the word microbiome. So now I can say the word microbiome and not, have people, like deer in the headlight.
Right.
So that's a huge change.
It is.
Yeah.
And what an important one. But now we need to have a follow-on support of the microbiome. We need to say, how do you take care of your dear friend, your microbiome that makes up 90% of your immune system and 90% of your genomics? How do you take care of that? How do you nourish it? How do you love it? How do you feed it? How do you protect it? That is really where medicine needs to go, because right now, in 1962, 6% of our GMP was in medical care. Now it's exceeding 20%. So that's telling you the pharmaceutical industry has got Congress by the short hair, getting all the money. And we've really taken your medical schools and just gone, kill it, cut it out, cure it through some chemical. And we're not going in the right direction very well, because 6% to 20%, we're consuming more and more of our gross national chest of our gold, our value, our wealth, into something that's actually illness. So an illness care versus wellness or prevention care. And, prevention is not very exciting because you're not sick yet. But you know what? Who wants to be sick? But we're not teaching in schools to prevent illness through whole nutrition. We may be trying to start to do that, but the food chain is so dominated by the political forces of processors saying, I'm going to have my part of the USDA food pyramid come hell or high water, instead of what's better for humanity. And I think we have to change our social contract with the citizens of our country and say, what's best for you? Not what's best for the pharmaceuticals or doctors or medical schools. No, what's best for people. And that will roll out very nicely into what's best for everybody in the food chain. It'll be a lot better for farmers too, because farmers will be very much the principal place that food comes from. It doesn't necessarily get processed very much.
Yeah. Just when you were talking about preventative medicine, I had a flashback of me back in medical school. And I remember thinking, preventative medicine, that sounds so boring.
Exactly.
I was like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I felt at that time, right?
Yes.
Because, like what? You're going to do something so people don't get sick. Yeah. That just is definitely not exciting. And, but then, I'm trying to stay healthy. And that's when I'm like, I'm going to prevent for myself. And then I realized, oh my God, this is very powerful. So why, I should be doing this for everybody, so nobody gets sick. So now really what I'm doing is preventive medicine. Everything I'm doing is trying to, me being in the anti-aging field to prevent aging, which is the biggest risk factor for diseases. So because aging is nothing but decline and all the malfunction that we could address along the way.
That can't be overstated. And it's just not popular because it doesn't make money. It doesn't create money. And think about it, as a doctor, I was a paramedic for 17 years. So I worked with a lot of doctors. I got a lot of pre-med behind me. I'm not a doctor though. My wife's got her master's in nursing, and so we do a lot of work together. But in medical school, you run up a big debt. You run $200,000 or $300,000 in debt in some places, or that more. And then you work really long hours, and you're exhausted as an intern and a resident. And it's like, I got to make some damn money here. I was promised a decent quality of life, and I'm in debt, and I'm not making any money. I'm a slave to some hospital in residency. I'm not making more than the nurse next to me. There's kind of a internal anger saying, I was supposed to save humanity and be good. And now it becomes, I got to survive myself as a doctor to pay back my bills and make some money. And so you become a churn. You become a 7 minutes per patient kind of a thing, where you're just diagnosing, treating, get them out of here, diagnose, treat, bill, instead of looking at a group of people you're responsible for to make sure they're the healthiest they can possibly be. Thinking of that as a goal versus just treat the worst, bill. It's a different mind culture. And I'm a big proponent of single payer and socialized medicine in some regards. I think there's some really good things there. And it's so much more efficient if you're not paying profits to the the insurance companies to just scalp and deny. And it'd be so much better to say, wait a minute, guys, what's the end goal here? The end goal is to be an efficient country with healthy people that aren't getting sick. so we can be more productive and less supportive of that 30% of people who are in hospitals or in convalescent homes or wherever they are, always supporting the ill versus preventing that. We can all be more productive for 70 years of our lives and enjoy every bit of it with quality of life towards the end versus quality of life falling apart at 45 or 50.
People are